What is up, y'all? And welcome back to episode 15 of That's No Moon Pod. Today, we finally got season 3 of The Mandalorian. And I really want to talk about it, give my spoiler review. We also got episode 11 of The Bad Batch today as well. So I'll get into that towards the very end of this video. But I really just want this episode to kind of just be The Mandalorian review because it's been so long since season 2 has ended. I think it's been a really long time since Star Wars fans have kind of felt this sort of feeling with any kind of Star Wars content. I think a lot of people liked Andor, including myself, but there's just something about The Mandalorian that just gets it right. And yeah, I'm really excited to talk about it. So I guess I'll just get right into it. We start off with the whole remaining Mandalorians from Din's clan. And we kind of see a helmet being forged. And then the scene plays out and we walk outside to sort of this beach area to where all the Mandalorians are all surrounded and some sort of ceremony type rituals going down. And we see the helmet being presented to a kid. And at first, whenever the scene was playing out, I thought, is this kind of like a flashback to when Din Djarin was a little kid and him kind of getting initiated into the Mandalorian clan? Because the kid kind of, I guess, would resemble him when Din was younger, and they didn't really do anything to kind of set up the scene at all. It just kind of cold opens with them in the ceremony. But it was cool to see all the different types of Mandalorians there with all their different colors of armor and their styles and how everyone's kind of unique in their own way. And as they're doing the ritual to initiate this kid in, right as soon as they are telling him kind of what to say and to make sure that he never takes off his helmet, right before the kid could get the words out, like a giant alligator type creature just comes out of the water and starts attacking all the Mandalorians on the beach. And there's just like this big kind of battle with this creature going on, and it's just eating all these Mandalorians, and they're trying to figure out a way how to control it. And so after a little bit of a scuffle, the Mandalorian music hits, and you just know right away who's coming in. We see his ship with Grogu in the cockpit in his little mini dome, and they take out the big old alligator thing fairly easily. And Din's just kind of showing up there to go over what he's got planned for himself and kind of how he can get reinstated into the clan and what he has to do. he knows he has to go to Mandalore and kind of see for himself what's left, and maybe he could find some way of maybe restoring the planet of Mandalore, and he just wants to do whatever it takes for him to get his Mandalorian card back, pretty much. He has to go to Mandalore. He doesn't care about, ruling or, doing anything with the Darksaber. We don't even see the Darksaber in this episode at all. He doesn't even whip it out once, even though it is mentioned toward the end, but I'll get to that later. So yeah, we kind of get right away what Din's mission is going to be for the season, or at least a big part of his mission. And then we cut to Din and Grogu taking off into hyperspace, and we get this cool scene where they're just flying in hyperspace, and Din's just kind of taking a nap or whatever in the cockpit, and we pan over to Grogu in his dome, and you just see him looking out of the window and seeing all the hyperspace go by, and you get this really cool scene of him just looking out the window, and you start to see these kind of large moving things in the distance in the hyperspace, and Grogu's just locked eyes on these things flying with them. And as it focuses in, you see that they're the whales, the giant space whales, and there's a bunch of them just huge, flying through hyperspace, not that far from them in the ship, and just seeing like the size difference from the whales from their ship is just, it's crazy to see in live action. Those space whales from Rebels, and right away, if you've seen Rebels or know the lore of Rebels, you know that those whales kind of just imply heavily that we're probably going to see Ezra, and we're probably going to see Thrawn. Hopefully within this season of The Mandalorian. I don't see why they would necessarily throw in those space whales right away in the first episode if they're not kind of setting up for us to eventually see Thrawn and Ezra in live action. I think there's been a lot of rumors going around of possibly like what's going to be the big thing of season 3 of The Mandalorian. Season 1 brought us a lot of cool stuff with the Darksaber and just giving us Grogu and these cool new characters, and season 2 bumped it up with giving us Ahsoka and Luke. So it's like they're kind of stepping up the game each season so far. So I think throwing in Ezra and Thrawn in season 3 of Mando would just be kind of the big reveal that would make Star Wars fans just, lose their minds again, and kind of just set up what's to come within this kind of Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Star Wars universe kind of, and it'll all kind of link into what we're going to see eventually in the Ahsoka show. So I just thought that that scene was just so well done with the subtlety of it, kind of just like if you know type thing. And then you just see Grogu kind of cuddle up with Din in the cockpit, them just kind of flying together. It was cute. A lot of cuteness from Grogu in this episode, which is to be expected, of course. That's the cool thing about The Mandalorian, the show necessarily, is just you don't have to be a hardcore Star Wars fan to enjoy it. You could just be a casual fan or not even a big Star Wars fan at all. It's things like Grogu and like the storytelling and the adventure that these characters are on throughout the series. I think it plays really well with a lot of people that aren't necessarily into Star Wars, like me, or a lot of, just hardcore sweaties. And Grogu definitely is a very big part of that being the reason why. He's too cute on screen when he's on camera. And I like how they don't make him annoying, I think maybe if you find his cuteness annoying, maybe they show him too much, but it's just like Grogu as a character isn't annoying himself, he's so cute that he could be annoying to people. But to me, I mean, he's cute. What are you going to do? And so after the whale scene through hyperspace, they finally land on Navarro, and they kind of see what's been going on since we last been on the planet. And it seems like it's fully kind of gotten through the tough times, and now with Grief Karga really running things well, Navarro's kind of this rich and kind of just, it's a well kept up place now instead of just run by the Empire and just a lot of slimy people walking around. You see nothing but happy people, and it's just thriving now. And Din and Grogu are just walking through the city as they link up with Grief Karga, and he kind of gives them the rundown of what's been going on. And it was just cool to see. Carl Weathers is always great as Grief Karga. He kills it in the role. We get some funny scenes with him and Grogu and Mando. Grogu being cute and trying to use the Force to get some snacks on the table and spinning around on the chair. It was just a really cool interaction. And that kind of leads into this next scene where Grief Karga gets a report saying that there's pirates causing trouble down in the city, and so him and Mando kind of go down there just to go scope it out and see what's going on. And they run into these pirates just starting trouble, and they want to drink at this school, with Grief saying it's they should just go up to his place and they could drink there, but they're like, nah, we want to drink right here. So they get into a little standoff, Western style, and you see Grief Karga, he's packing under his ponchos and his nice robes, and Mando's just sitting or just standing in the corner, just waiting for someone to make a move, just chill. And they get into a cool standoff, and Grief Karga eventually and Mando, they take him out, and the pirate kind of just takes off running away, and we kind of find out to see where he comes into play later on. But right after this scene takes place, we get we get to finally know exactly where Cara Dune is in all this. Everyone was kind of wondering what exactly they would do with Cara Dune um, after the whole debacle with her and her character. Um, Everyone was just wondering, are they going to kill off Cara Dune? Are they going to just say that she's off on another mission? And sure enough, that's kind of what they do. Grief Karga says that she was sent on some other mission, and she's not able to be the Marshal of Navarro. And I think that was a good way to kind of keep her in play, possibly, if they ever decide to bring her back into the universe. I think it'd be a good idea, just because I think Cara Dune was a cool character in the series, and I think just the way they kind of handled the whole situation between her didn't really sit well with a lot of fans. And I think if they're able to ever kind of reconcile that relationship and possibly bring her back in season 4, I think a lot of people would be up for it. But at least they didn't kill her off, say she's just dead. And then right after this, there's a IG-11 statue from the one from season 1, and they kind of engraved like this statue in the middle of the city, and Mando saying, I need that droid because I need him to help me go into Mandalore and do what I need to do. So Mando and Grief, they're kind of just trying to put this droid back together piece by piece and kind of hotwire it. And they eventually get the IG-11 unit working, but it still has its old protocols to kill Baby Yoda, Grogu. So once it wakes up, it wants to kill him. So they take it out, and they have to end up trying to get it fixed by the Babu Frick creatures from the sequel trilogy, from Rise of Skywalker. So we're getting some sequel love within The Mandalorian. Little subtle, but I still like it a lot. I thought Babu Frick was funny in Rise of Skywalker, and just kind of seeing a whole kind of team of them having their own repair shop, and seeing Mando crisscross sitting down in there, and Grogu squeezing and hugging all the Babu Fricks, and they're just all trying to communicate with Mando, telling him what we need to fix him, and we just get a lot of funny dialogue scenes in this, which is good. I thought they did the humor really well in this episode. That whole scene cracked me up. And so they tell Mando what he needs to do. He needs to bring them the certain part so they could fix him, and it's all good. So then we kind of get this other kind of side quest for Mando to get done, while he has this whole bigger mission to go to Mandalore and kind of take his claim back to be a Mandalorian again, which is cool. So we're gonna kind of get, Mando and Grogu trying to find this part to help rebuild IG-11, while also focusing on the main mission at hand. So they eventually take off, and they're flying through space, and Mando's teaching Baby Yoda kind of just like the controls within the ship, and just kind of just telling him the ways of the Mandalorians, of how to navigate through space, and just kind of showing him the ropes more and more. And this scene was something that I feel like we had been missing for a while within Star Wars, and the Mandalorian just does it right every time. This felt like a throwback space battle from the prequels and even the original trilogy. The pirates from Navarro that Mando and Grief Karga ran into earlier, they show back up and they want their revenge on Mando. So they try to ambush him in space. They're kind of going through like this cool asteroid field, and Mando's just got all the maneuvers that he could throw at them, and he just starts taking them out one by one. And the visuals just in this type of scene are just some of my favorite things to watch while in Star Wars. It's just cool to see these awesome space battles take place, and seeing Mando just take them out with skill and with ease. He's kind of just he gets outnumbered 1-6 at one point, but he's still like nothing. He stays calm and just shows Grogu how it's done pretty much. And after he kind of takes them all out, the leader of the pirates kind of leads Mando and Grogu into the captain of the pirates' main ship, and he kind of tries to talk to Mando and tell him, you know, you're trapped, you got nowhere to go. But Mando tells Grogu, never deal with pirates that can't be trusted, and they peace out into hyperspace. So that was just a cool scene to kind of show, you know, we already know that Mando's he's the guy, you know, he just can do everything. And just kind of seeing him kind of show off to Grogu, but also just kind of show him like, hey, this is how it's done. This is what you got to do. This is what not to do. It's just kind of cool to see that mentorship, you know, just even more and more with him and Grogu. And I guess I should, before I get into like the final scene of the episode, just kind of following into with Mando and Grogu, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni were interviewed before the episode dropped. I think it was at the premiere. And Jon Favreau said that that Grogu was with Luke for 2 years. So whenever we see Luke and Grogu for that short period of time after season 2 of The Mandalorian, when we see him in Book of Boba Fett training with Luke, I wonder how long that must have been from season 2 ending to that scene in Book of Boba Fett. 2 years just seems a lot faster than what a lot of people were thinking, I guess. But I mean, if that's what they're saying, and Jon Favreau is the one to say it, or Dave Filoni, then I guess we just gotta accept it for what it is. Because, yeah, if you never watched the Book of Boba Fett and you're kind of just following along the Mandalorian seasons, you're kind of probably wondering, well, Grogu goes with Luke at the end of season 2, and at the beginning of season 3, they're together. So what happened there? Like, if you never watched Book of Boba Fett, you're kind of probably thinking like, well, how'd that happen? Like, what I miss, right? So I thought they were gonna kind of do a flashback type deal in this episode. I think they probably should have done that. Maybe kind of extended the the runtime on the episode as well, just to kind of get us, you know, just kind of get us all familiar with what exactly has happened if you aren't fully caught up within this universe. But I mean, hey, I mean, that's cool. I think a lot of people had problems with them reuniting Mando and Grogu so fast. It never really bothered me a whole lot, even though I understand where they're coming from, where, yeah, it kind of seemed like they separated and reunited pretty quickly. So I guess this is just kind of them saying like, hey, we needed them to come back together for Mando 3, so we're just going to say that Grogu was with Luke for 2 years, which also kind of speeds up kind of what we might see from Grogu power-wise, and also kind of just fixes the whole thing of, you know, why get rid of him and then get him back right away type deal. But either way, I'm cool with it. I'm glad at least they said that before the episode came out, so we all kind of figured, okay, that's what we're going with from here on out. Whatever those two guys say is final at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm cool with that. I think most people are too as well. But yeah, so the final scene that we get in this episode, we see Mando and Grogu, and they end up flying to this planet where Mando says to Grogu, there's this old Mandalorian castle kind of just floating on this water surface planet. And doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of people there, but we see Mando kind of walking down this long hallway with Grogu, and at the end of the hallway we see Bo-Katan on some sort of throne or just a nice looking chair, and she's kicking back with her helmet off, and she's kind of giving Mando the rundown on kind of what she's been up to, and Mando tells her what his mission is and why he feels like he needs to do this, and Bo-Katan is just kind of sitting there and not really giving Mando too much of what he wants to hear until the end. You kind of get this feeling that Bo-Katan's still pretty salty at Mando for, just being the one to hold the Darksaber and have the right to actually rule Mandalore if he wished, but we all know that's not his intentions. So Bo-Katan's just telling him exactly what went down with her and her crew and kind of why she's stuck in this place where she's at, and she doesn't necessarily know exactly what to do at this point. But Mando kind of just tells her he plans on going to Mandalore and, doing this mission of his, and just so he could get his Mandalorian claim back. And she's just telling him, you're a fool, this and that. But then she kind of helps him in a way and tells him, kind of gives him these warnings and where exactly to go to complete his mission. And he thanks her, and he walks off, and Bo-Katan's kind of just giving these weird shady vibes towards him as he's walking away. I don't know if she's necessarily setting him up or kind of letting him, just telling him what he wants to hear, even though she knows possibly that it would put him in danger. I could see her kind of, I don't think she was necessarily lying to him, but I think she wants him to do this just so maybe he ends up failing his mission, and then she could kind of swoop in and take advantage and possibly fight Mando for the Darksaber, so she could rule Mandalore for her own. So I think she's kind of plotting on the low, acting like she doesn't care too much, or, is not interested on what he's got going on, but I think she's got bigger plans for herself in the near future. But that was just the whole episode in a whole. Even though I still feel like it was too short, I think if you're gonna drop an episode within the 30-minute range, live action wise for Star Wars, why not just give us 2 episodes? Just boom boom. Especially if the next episode has a lot to deal with this episode. It's not kind of just a random side quest for Mando. But I guess that'd probably be my only gripe about the episode, is where I just kind of felt like it was a little too short, especially for the wait that we've all been on. But other than that, I thought this season started off hot, started off the right way, gave us all everything that we wanted from The Mandalorian, and not just The Mandalorian, but just from Star Wars. Because I think a lot of people have been feeling some type of way of the content that we've been getting from Star Wars within the past few years, and Mandalorian just seems to always get it right, and they're continuing to do so in this season, it seems like. I want to speculate kind of on what we might see eventually. Like I said, the whales are highly implying that we're going to get Thrawn and Ezra. I think we'll probably get Ahsoka as well, a little cameo. I don't know, they could throw in Luke again for a scene. I still think it would be really cool if they could find a way to bring back Mace Windu somehow, and kind of maybe let him be the one to have saved Grogu all those years ago, possibly, and he's kind of just been in hiding. I think if there's any way to get Mace Windu back, that would be just as crazy as them bringing in Ahsoka and Luke. I think that would just, break the internet once again for Star Wars, and just, get this hype train rolling even more. But I mean, I don't know, as long as it makes sense within the story, I think we're going to see a lot of cool surprises this season, like we always do. And I'm excited. Star Wars is back. Mando's back. All the hype is back. From here on out, we're going to get a lot of good Star Wars content. Still got the Bad Batch, which I'll talk about episode 11 briefly. We got Visions coming out soon, season 2. Jedi Fallen Order sequel video game coming out real soon. We got Ahsoka this year. And I believe we were getting Skeleton Crew this year as well, if I'm not mistaken. But they're supposed to announce some crazy things at Star Wars Celebration. There's a lot of rumors going around on what exactly they could be announcing there. Obviously, the big rumors of them announcing a new trilogy, or at least some new movies from Star Wars. So we should be getting news on that. Some news came out this week about a possible Luke Skywalker, Han Solo type TV show coming out as well, which is crazy to even think about them doing like a young Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, probably Princess Leia type series. I think they're feeling pretty good about themselves and what they could do with these deep fake, um, or de-aging with Luke and Han Solo right now. They've already done it with Leia as well, so I mean, why not? I'm all here for it. I think, if they do it right and kind of give us these cool Luke, Han Solo, Princess Leia missions after Return of the Jedi, I think that'd be so sick to see. Like prime time Luke Skywalker, and we still got prime Han and Leia and Chewie. I think that'd be a pretty cool series if they actually wind up doing it. But that's just a rumor. Who knows? And yeah, to close out the episode, I want to talk about episode 11 of The Bad Batch real quick. I'm really enjoying season 2 of The Bad Batch. I think a lot of people are enjoying it as well, but I think a lot of people are also kind of feeling like it's not doing it for them as much. I mean, they got so much episodes in a season to where there's going to obviously be these episodes that kind of feel like just side quests, or they don't have any kind of big impact on the overall big story of the Bad Batch and kind of just what's going on within this time period. But I'm still enjoying the season a lot. I've been having fun every week watching it. And this episode was really cool. We kind of see like those rogue, the commanders, from the old school video game from PlayStation, the PlayStation 2. Like right away, those just kind of, those clone armor, with the helmets lighting up and all that, just throw you back to a time where, we're getting all these cool new Star Wars video games from the prequels and stuff. So seeing those designs come back is always cool to see when they, give us something from the past and kind of, just give us that nostalgia feeling, especially from the prequel stuff. And we kind of see like this weird thing going on this ship to where there's like this big creature eating the crew members, and the ship crashes, and we get Sid telling the batch that, hey, this ship just crashed. There's some precious cargo on it. Go get it. We'll split it 50-50. And, she's reluctant to make the deal with them 50-50, but, she kind of left them out to dry in the last episode, so she kind of gives them what they want, and the batch are kind of feeling obviously some type of way about Sid, so they're saying, we'll do this one mission for her one last time, and we'll kind of cut ties with her, thankfully. So they go on this mission, and we get to see these kind of crazy things that happen where from Camino, the scientists and the doctors who run the cloning facilities, we're kind of seeing that the Empire's having these secret types of missions of their own to where they're trying to clone things for the Emperor, and they have the Camino doctor's prison there, and they're kind of trying to make their own deals going on to where we end up eventually seeing that the creature that was eating the crew on the ship that crashed was actually the Zillo beast that attacked Coruscant in the Clone Wars. And Palpatine actually, that was all Palpatine's thing before he was even the Emperor. So kind of we're seeing that these kind of just strings being pulled behind the scenes that, you know, Palpatine has. He wants these creatures to be cloned. And we're kind of just seeing like the background story of what, possibly of what he planned on doing with Grogu and possibly Snoke as well. So it's kind of cool to see like the beginnings of all these plans take place and kind of what the Empire has going on behind the scenes with these whole cloning things. And come to find out that, once the batch lands to where the crash ship is at, the Zillo beast eventually gets out and starts attacking the village, and the batch are trying to keep everything under control, but the Zillo beast just eats electricity and just grows bigger and bigger like a big old Godzilla type beast. And there's really nothing they could do about it. But while they're scavenging through the ship, they kind of see all the Camino cloning type medical equipment. Omega's realizing she remembers everything, and she's kind of figuring out the pieces as well that, they had this beast on board for a reason because they wanted to clone it. And once the Empire kind of comes in and takes out the beast on their own, they freaking tranquilize it, grab it back up into their ship, and that's kind of where we find out what they really have planned with the beast. And they kind of get this tip from the leader of the Camino, the clone facilities. He tells, I guess it's this new kind of doctor who's running the cloning works for the Empire, and he tells him that the key to achieving the cloning process is from Omega. So she's going to be probably captured at some point and taken hostage, so they could use her to figure out exactly how to clone these creatures and possibly Grogu and Snoke properly. So I'm pretty sure within these next few episodes, we're going to kind of see that take place, and the batch is going to have to come in and save the day. We do get a hint saying that Rex and Cody are probably going to come back at some point to help out the batch. So I think just them kind of setting up what's to come and towards the end of this season of the Bad Batch is cool. Like I said, I've been enjoying the Bad Batch season 2 a lot this season. And just to kind of have Bad Batch drop and Mando drop all on the same day. Again, it feels good to have Star Wars back. It's good to have, just these good vibes going on around the Star Wars community again. Can never get enough of it when it's done right. You could just feel it while watching it, and I'm glad we're all here to experience it. I'm super stoked for next week. I heard episode 2 of The Mandalorian is supposed to be awesome. They showed 2 episodes at the premiere Tuesday night, and so from what I've been hearing from the people that saw the second episode, they're saying that episode 2 is supposed to be even better than episode 1. So I'm super stoked for that. Super stoked for Bad Batch. Yeah, it just feels good to be back in the Star Wars universe on good terms, where everyone seems to just be enjoying the content and we're all here for the same ride. And yeah, we just can't wait for what's to come. We know something crazy is going to be happening. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. Unless something big kind of drops throughout the week, I think kind of each episode of the pod's gonna kind of be a spoiler review of Mando and the Bad Batch. But yeah, I mean, if something else kind of happens within the news, I'll for sure be implementing it into the episode as well. But for now, it just seems like Mando's gonna be the hot topic, and I'm all here for it. Yeah, thank you all for listening and tuning in. You all can follow me on Instagram at Admire My Moonsalt. You can follow my Twitch at Admire My Moonsalt. I post a comic book on my Instagram every day. If you're into comic books or just cool variant cover artwork, like I said, I post one new comic book on my Instagram at least once a day. So yeah, you can follow me on my socials at Admire My Moonsalt. Like and subscribe this video if you dug it. Mando reviews to come. And yeah, just thank you so much for whoever's listening to this and tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to keep pumping these out for y'all. I'm really enjoying doing this every week just to kind of get out all my thoughts on what's been going on lately. And yeah, I'm just grateful for whoever tunes into these and, you know, just stumble upon these audio podcasts of mine that, yeah, I just really enjoy doing. And yeah, I guess that'll be it. This has been episode 15 of That's No Moon Pod. I'll catch you all next week. Y'all stay safe. And I'll catch y'all on the flip. Peace.